waving my front legs to try and make her let go. The smile I drew across my face seeming almost alien as I softly added more width with the end of the charcoal stick. Then a little more, and a little more. Before I knew it, I'd drawn one of the most wide smiles I ever had, almost as much as when I'd drawn myself on my own on that page so long ago. Now, where was that one? Flicking back, I hunted it out. The one I had drawn just after gaining the ability to think for myself, even a little, back in the fun farm. Eventually, I found it. The one that had me on my own, grinning widely with my wings flared to either side beautifully. It still made me chuckle to think I could ever actually make a smile like that without being around little Pip's escape. But there it was, just in the middle left of the page on my own, and I wasn't alone anymore. There had been something else drawn on it. At some point during the rest period, I had added some pony else. Now, Glimmerlight stood just to the right of me, about one pony's width away, clean and as though she wasn't a slave, her initiate robes well kept and draped tidily about her. But she still had that playful energy about her posture, and her face. Wow, that look, the sparkling cheeky grin and alluringly casual eyebrows. One expression that comforted her friends and caught the attention of stallions all in one fell swoop. Feeling my hooves shake, I fought the urge to try and hug the journal itself. I knew finally why I had drawn myself to one side like that. I had been waiting for the friends I could add in later all along.
So that's the mare herself, huh?
Minstrel smiled thinly as he watched over my shoulder.
Although I have to question regarding yourselves' siblings within 48 hours of meeting. That seems a little preemptive, don't you think?
I thought so too, but back inside Philly, time didn't feel right. Shifts could come any time. You could be underground in the pits working away and not knowing how long for. You lived day to day. Anything that survived was a blessing. Death was so easy. I saw ponies burned alive, shot, or simply dying of sickness. Just so random and unforgiving. I only barely survived. Part of me wished I'd drawn her closer in the piece of paper, nearer to me. But it works the other way too. If some pony feels trustworthy and close to you, then I discovered just how amazing you could feel in a few scant hours. I'm a Pegasus, Doc. Ponies hate me.
I don't.
But almost all of them did. Slaves are ignorant. They don't know how to think about situations like ponies outside do. Even I didn't realize that until they opened my eyes.
They?
All of them. Little Pip, the mayor, the DJ, Brimstone, Glimmerlight, even Protege in some weird way. I don't understand. Some of them I only saw for less than a few seconds, but it matters when you're a slave like me. It's all I have. All I had. I sniffed, wiping my eyes with a hoof, still flinching from my forehead throbbing at the motion. That's why I think we were able to just know that we would be so close no matter what. We'd saved each other's lives already. Slaves like we are, were, that counts for everything. A period of silence began as Minstrel carefully mulled this over, leaning on his front hooves and staring almost unflinching at me. The only noise was the occasional sniffle from me and a wind banging upon the window shutters every few seconds. Eventually Minstrel got to his hooves.
Well, I suppose you need to get her back. That much is obvious. Afraid I can't help too much, but well, wait and have a chat with Sunny. She knows the area and the ponies you can trust. Might even give you a few tips on how to fire that pistol she carried in with you. I'll see what I can cook up to maybe give you a hand when you head out the door. Just take it easy. I can see in your eyes how much you want to just gun it and find Glimmerlight. But you're badly wounded and recovering still. Not to mention your memory ain't quite there yet.
He shrugged, wandering toward the corridor and tapping the sofa on the way.
Lie down and get some rest. Goodness knows you need it. I'll wake you up when Sun is back. Who knows? Maybe you'll remember something yourself.
Nodding silently, I wandered up the sofa and rolled onto it. The soft cushions allowed me to lie on my side without the worry of wing ache. Oh, I had a name for it now, and just flick through my journal. Perhaps if I went back far enough, I could find something to... No, I couldn't do that. Not now. Definitely not. If I wouldn't dare look at my slave past before, doing it now would just... It would just be too much to handle. No, the years of my life would remain indistinct and behind me. I had no wish to see imagery of me being abused. Time passed, just lying and thinking, not thinking and being confused. Freedom didn't feel quite so monumental as I thought it would at this stage. My heart didn't feel like jumping for joy. The shackles on my flank still stung every time I looked at them. I felt out of place. Searching through my saddlebag to distract myself didn't help. I came across the elements of loot I'd taken from Stable 93. Mostly just odds and ends I'd carried for Brimstone and Glimmerlight. A spanner, small hammer, screwdriver, nuts, bolts, and some little bobby pins. But striving, I pulled the largest item, a thick book, one I had liberated from the memorial room. Or was it? I couldn't precisely remember. The haunting passage through the bowels of the stable had left my memory indistinct and blurry. Or maybe that was the blow to my head. Only time would tell if everything would reassemble like it should. Weighing the book in my hooves, feeling the heavy weight, it dawned on me how long I'd been pushed by adrenaline and fear, how I'd been able to keep going even with a sick body and the injuries every slave carries. Typical. When I wanted to be heroic, I was weak, but when terrified, I could push myself. If only it were the other way around, like proper heroes. But this book, I'd picked it up to give to Protégé, but I was free of that conniving and caring master forever, helping and saying he wanted to be kind to me one minute, then sending me into the stables the next. Holding the coverless book in my hooves, my eyes fell hopelessly on the words I could never read. I would be glad to never have to rack my brains just talking to him ever again. So, why did I feel like I was going to miss handing him the book? Gritting my teeth, I dropped it back into my saddlebag. With some degree of revulsion, I set about pulling my fleece back on. As much as Minstrel seemed fine with my wings, I didn't like feeling naked and exposed like this. Whimpering as I squeezed my head through, even wool pulling across my skull feeling like industrial sandpaper, I finally flopped down, breathing hard and switched on my Pitbuck's radio.
Rock and roll!
The music ceased. Celestia, damn it! I'd missed one of Velvet's songs! Immediately, my mind realized what it had thought, and sent approximately 8 prayers toward the sky in forgiveness. One for each letter of her name, just to be sure.
You know, I really don't think I'll ever tire of that stuff. Year after year of the same sounds wear on any good DJ's ears. We've got the main daily news coming up in a few hours, but for now I got a little tidbit that just can't wait. From over across the plains, I've been getting reports of a large-scale confrontation between Red Ass and the Steel Rangers. Seems even with all the problems out in the wasteland, those two groups still want to clobber one another. But that's not the best part. Through the network, it seems that the slaves of Philadelphia took the stable dwellers' actions to heart. There's a colossal search going on, and it's clearly not just for rangers. You don't go hunting for ponies in power armor with whips and shackles, do you?
My heart leapt. This was... Oh my...
So I say to those of you out there, good work. Now get out safe. They don't let any pony go easy. Indeed, the walls are only the first obstacle in their network to catch runaways. Be careful, 'cause ain't nothing gonna hurt more than being dragged back through those gates and chains. I thought of saying what roads might be less crowded, but I'd be one pretty big idiot to think they aren't listening in too. Now, we've not had any reports of actual escapees yet, but by all the great goodness left in the wastelands, I sure hope there is. Any pony out there gets a whiff of a slave that escapes, let old Pone 3 know, will ya?
Find my friends, find Little Pip, find my mother. Now I had another one to add to the list. Proudly trot into the DJ's very studio as the one who got away, and say, I did it. Giggling so happily to myself at the thought that my throat threatened to spasm and cough, I squirmed and curled up on the sofa, clutching the half-destroyed Pip-Buck tightly enough I feared it might bend. The DJ clearly knew little Pip. Maybe he could put in a good word or two? I might be weak, deathly sick, and for now without allies nearby, but at least I knew there were others out there rooting for me, wishing my dreams to succeed as much as I did.